get started. Is that tea or coffee? Just before the practice. So I can see a mat and 2 blocks. That's perfect. We need that. And you've got your chair. Wonderful. That's it. 2 yoga bricks is great. A chair is good. An edge of a settee is good today. If you have a settee or an armchair or a piece of wall is good for what we're going to do this morning. Working on side body, creating space through the side body. But of course, we can only do that through the legs and the awareness of the arms as well. So it's on the knees to start, and then we're going to systematically work towards our sequence this morning. Great. So, yes, wonderful. And some of you can bring your screens down, though we don't have much time to make adjustments and things, but at least if I see something that can be changed, at least I can say, and yeah, all right. So let's get started. So I've got a wall behind me, which I won't use, but I've got an edge of my settee as well, which I will use. I use the wall a lot when we're looking for stability and looking to go somewhere so we can land. And from landing, we create more space because we can rise up from where we can land or have something to support us. Just going to get the bolster out of the way. So I'm going to be using the edge of the settee, but if you don't have an edge of the settee, you can have the wall, just a little bit of wall or skirting or something to have the feet. So if you have a blanket, it's quite nice to have a blanket for your knees, because some of you I know may need a little support. So you can already work with just a small square of the blanket. You don't want your feet on the blanket for sure. So not the feet on the blanket. And the chair is there for now, though we'll just go to it if we need to go this morning. Some of you may want to use it. Some of you don't have to use it. And then you've got your 2 bricks. I want to ask you if you've got the bricks to already place one against the wall, flat, or the edge of your settee. Because we just want it to sit so it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't slide off anywhere. So against the edge of your settee or against the wall, and it's flat. So we're actually going to be placing our heel on that at some point. We're going to raise the leg this morning. We're going to raise the heel so we can get a little more through the back of the leg. So come onto your knees. And if you're good to sit on your heels, please do. I am using a foam, just a little foam pad at the moment, but it's just to support my 1 foot. But of course you can't support one, you have to support both. If you're sitting or standing, or if you're kneeling and you've got any supports ever under your feet, your knees, any part of where you are touching the ground, you need to always support both. Even though you're looking after one, you have to do both, otherwise you're going to be off balance. So just sitting on your heels with your palms on your thigh bones, and there's a tendency of coming forward when we sit. We really want to go back. Sit back, take your fingertips on the floor, and then press the floor with your fingertips facing forward, and lift the buttocks off your heels and move them forward. There's this moving forward action of the buttocks that creates space on these upper inner thighs. And then you can use your fingertips on the floor and press the floor and get this lift through the chest. So we have an opening coming through this armpit area where it tends to drop down. We want to lift up here. It's like wearing braces, the old-fashioned braces or it used to be worn, where it used to pick the braces up. It's like picking the skin here up here. So the collarbones go back, which opens all this area. So just press the floor, and if you activate the arms, it will come, moving the shoulder blades in. Take the ears back, keep the neck long. You want to direct the crown of the head to the ceiling, and take your eyes inward, close your eyes for a moment. Just become aware of your feet, your shins, pressing into the floor, and bringing the connection to your calves, calves connecting to your thighs. And as you press and you sit and you elongate through the sides of the trunk, there is a shift happening in your back. And of course, if it's happening in the back, it's happening in the front. And we want to spread the collarbones. Exhale. Take a breath in. And take a breath out. And bring your palms to your heart space. Press gently the thumb at the breastbone, elbows down. And again, as you draw the elbows down, feel the spreading of the collarbones. And gently just tilt your chin towards your chest, your gaze inward. Take another inhale. Exhale. Just mentally preparing for practice. And quiet into your mind. Stay connected through your feet, your shins. And gently release your palms to your thighs. And as you open your eyes, the softness that comes through the eyes after they've been closed, even for a few moments, is the softness you want to work with. You do not want to harden your eyes as you practice. Press the shins, inhale, come up. So there's activation already now coming through the thighs and the groins. We're going to leave the left foot where it is, the left shin where it is, bring the right foot forward, stand it, have it not on the blanket, please, have it on the mat because you don't slip. Have the right heel in line with your left knee. So there's an alignment here, okay? Just there, and then take the arms out. Take the weight to your back shin. Try not to have the weight on your knee too much. So it's really about taking the awareness to the top of the foot. Turn the palms up. So the arms rotate and the palms go up. Spread the arms a little more. Take a deep breath into that space. And as you exhale, just bring the back of the right hand down to the floor and wherever the left arm goes. And then the awareness goes back on your left shin and towards the left little toe. You want to bring the right shoulder blade in and extend through the left arm. So we've created a little space from the left hip. You're taking a breath in. Allow yourself to exhale. Do one more, inhale. Reach, open palm, extended fingers. Awareness on the left shin, exhale, and then go back to the left shin, foot, inhale, come up. Arms stay out. And then you can release the hands and gently bring your foot back and sit. So as you go back and sit, arms on your thighs, close your eyes, observe. And just observation in that space that you created through your left side. Press your feet, shins, inhale, come up. You really want to come up by pressing your shins. Left foot comes out. So the foot in line with the knee again. So we've got this bent angle position. Arms go out. We rotate the arms from the armpit chest area. So the actual arms rotate out. Palms face up. Exhale. And then from here, you're extending. As you extend, we come down. As we come down, we've come to the inner arch, right arm comes up. And then again, take your time, think about, can I bring my left shoulder blade in, use my right arm, resist, so the knee keeps going to the left as I extend from the right hip now. Now this arm may not go over, just depending on what's going on in the shoulder. Try not to drop your head. Because when you drop the head down, it's heavy. Keep the head lifted. So ideally, that ear is in line with the arm. If the arm is a struggle with the arm coming over, please don't strain the shoulder joint. Just leave your palm on the lower back here, please. So do not struggle through the shoulder. Yeah, there's no need. You do not struggle in your practice. And this practice is to create softness, bring opening, and bring some strength. So do not struggle here, or if there's any tension going on in the shoulder blade. If there is space being created from the right shin, right hip, or we're just releasing the hand on the lower back. Focus on left shoulder blade coming in and the chest opening. After your next exhalation, you press your left foot, think right shin to come up. That's it. And gently bring the left knee, foot back, and sit. Yeah. And then palms on your thighs. Close your eyes. Take a moment here. Breathe in. Allow yourself to exhale. So that exhalation, you need to explore where you're exhaling from, where it's arriving. Could you exhale more without straining or forcing the breath to happen? Moving on, we're going to take an inhale and come up again. So as you come up, press your shins. So wherever your brick is, if your brick is to your left or your right, you're going to have to turn out around and do the other side. So we're now extending the leg, but we're raising the heel. May I suggest you bring your knees to the front of the mat and the brick as well, align it up with the front of the mat. So you know that you're not going to go off alignment. So if I bring my knees to the front here now, and I sit, I know that this line of the mat is going to take me to the edge of my brick. So the brick is, for me, it's on my left here. If the brick is on your right, that's fine. You're going to do both sides. So whichever side the brick is, you're going to either turn around and do the other side. So for now, you press your shins first, you sit, you prepare. We're going to be extending the leg. So inhale, come up. So we're taking the foot back out where we came from. Now that heel has to go on top of the brick, and the foot will be on either the edge of your settee or it'll be in your wall, whatever you've chosen to use this morning. The awareness is still on the right shin. If you've gone off at an angle, which from what I can see, and most of you haven't, you've got quite a good alignment, and this is a perpendicular shin here, you're good to go. If there's any, if it's not in line, I could actually go back a little bit just there. Then I want an extension coming off a straight tie here. Arms out again. So make your adjustments and don't suffer on the knees. Remember, the awareness is on the shin as much as possible. Arms out. And take your time. There you go. So now this is like replicating the triangle pose when we stand up. This is gate pose, supported. So the heel up is going to, I want the back of the hand on the shin. It comes and lands on the shin. That's it. Just leave it on the shin and explore. Move the heel into the wall. The heel into the wall. Press awareness on the right shin, arm over. So now it's about closing the gate. It's how far can I go down with my left elbow and bring this right palm to meet the left. It's closing the gate, but take your time. It's not that you get there, it's how much space you create through your ribs. Take your time. You scrape the back of the hand down the shin, have a natural progression, just let it scrape down. So as that comes, this comes. As this comes, this comes, as this comes. So it's here. And of course, we hoard quite a lot in that area, around the lower back waist area, around the hips. So the more space you create in your body through your practice, the better the breath is going to flow and bring ease into the muscle groups. Do one more exhalation wherever it's taking you. Yeah. And then take an inhale and bring yourself back with the arm. Carefully does it. Bend that left knee and come and sit. Just take a seat and observe. So now not only do you have a little drop in the hip of the leg that extended out. So in my case, it was the left heel on the brick. There'll be a nice drop here in the groin. So we've created space here, and hopefully you've got a lot more space on the other side. Press your shins. Let's come up to do the other side. I don't have a wall on this side. I'm just going to leave the brick there. I'll use the edge of my chair, but And I'd like you to turn around and do exactly the same. Don't do what I'm doing. I just want to stay facing the screen. You would just turn around. Remember to line it up so your knees are in line with the bricks. So when you do take the heel is in line with the knee. You come up, exhale, and now the other foot comes out first and stands on the floor. And once you've stood and you've got the thigh activated, you can then extend the heel on your brick and extend your leg. Okay, so go ahead, exactly the same. You've been there on the other side. And just as you extend that heel, take your time. Arms go out when you're ready. I know the weight will come onto the bent knee, but the awareness still needs to be on the shin. Rotate the arms so the palms face up and the back of the hand on the shin. So let's slide, scrape the back of the hand down the shin. If the opposite arm comes over, it just comes over. It's how much can you go down your shin, perhaps bend the elbow. Try not to close the gate from the front body. Try to come round from the ear. But of course, you'll close down a little bit through the front as well. It's more, bring awareness to the back of that right leg for yourself. That's it. That's it. Try and have a straight right leg if you can, so you have a little more opening through the back of the knee and thigh, hamstring, without straining the back of your knee. Don't force anything to happen. Breathe out through the side body. Take an inhale. Awareness on the left, the bent knee shin, and come on. Okay, so that's gate pose, Parigasana in Sanskrit. Come back, sit on your heels, and close your eyes. Take yourself inward. There's nothing to see. When we're practicing the outside, we need to see what's happening on the inside here. Exhale. And then from here, we're going to bring ourselves up. Now, you can just turn around and let's do a downward facing dog. Hands on the floor, feet on the floor, not on the blanket. And while we're in downward facing dog, we'll just put the blanket to the side. So we'll turn around. If you were sitting on something to support your ankles, to the side, hands on the floor in line with your shoulders, feet in line with your hips, knees in line with the hips. Up you go. Extend the legs out. And then while you're here, once you've done your downward facing dog, where you've pressed your palms, get the height in the hips, you've got a nice opening through the back of the legs after that. And you've got this extra space through the sides of the trunk too, from the previous pose. So use that extra space to get a little more shift by pressing your palms and lifting through the pelvis and letting the back of the legs open. And while you're there, if you're able, with your hand, just move the blanket out of the way. If not, don't worry. You'll just bend your knees when you finish, and we'll take the blanket out of the way. We'll do one more exhale. And then you're either going to put your knees on the floor and take the blanket out of the way. You're going to walk all the way to your hands and simply hang in a standing forward bend, either with straight legs or bent knees, whatever works best for you. Give yourself an exhale here. Take a breath in and breathe out. And then inhale, please come up. Now, so it's nice to see you all have a brick actually in the room. So it's nice to work with, and you've got something you can work against, which is lovely. Because I do a lot of this work with all my clients and students, because it's about how can I access a bit more opening through the back of the leg. When we do triangle pose, which is a dynamic spine correction pose, the foot's always on the floor, and we tend to dump into the foot, and we tend to go to the foot, and we go to the leg. So we're going to lift the heel up, like we just did for the previous pose. You keep your brick flat against your wall. Now, if you had a wall, you would be able to put your hand on the wall. Okay, I'm not using a wall, but if you have a wall, you should actually go to the wall. So if you're okay to go from here, you would come to your feet a little bit wider. We're going to go into triangle, and you're going to structure triangle pose with your heel to on the brick. If you're not using a wall and you're a bit weary about balance, go ahead and put your chair, because I know some of you don't have access to a wall there. So see, I put a chair there. If I turn the chair around, can you see? It's there on the side, my brick's there. You can go to the chair just for a little support. Does that make sense? So you're not going to fall over. Otherwise, we'll be using the wall. So I've got the left foot going to the brick. You can have the right foot because you're going to turn around and do it. So move the heel onto the brick. And once the heel is on the brick, the foot is against your settee or the wall. The heel has to go in line with the opposite arch. So you have to heel toe that out. I've got my hand on the chair. Can you see? So now I've got a really nice triangle position with my legs. The heel is raised, hands option on the hips, or you put your hand on the chair if you need support. We're going to keep the hands on the hips if you can, ladies. Want to really work this leg into the hip socket. So here we go. The heel stays on the brick, you're going over that leg. Exactly like what you've just done. We're going over the leg. It's a straight leg. It's the work is here behind the leg. Can you see? Now, if it's too much for you to be here, remember we left the chair there, you can put the hand on the chair. So with the chair right next to the brick, I'm not going to be losing my balance. You can put your hand on the chair. If you've got a wall, your hand's going on the wall. So you should have either, if the wall is the best thing, if you've got a wall, just put your hand. Let this leg open in triangle. If the leg's going to open, you're going to be able to press the opposite heel down. And again, now you're getting the leg in the hip, and we're getting length through the back here for triangles. So options, hand on the chair, hand on the ankle, if you can go there. And then this back leg arm will go up. It doesn't have to, it's an option, but the chest has to come forward. Just breathe in, breathe out, yeah. And then very slowly press the back heel, bring your hand back on the hip. Advisable to bend the heel, that's the knee, where the heel is on the brick, bend it and bring yourself out and stand. When you stand, just stand still. Exhale. And observe, does that leg just feel so much more connected and different to the other side? So when we adapt the practice a little bit to what we call educate, how the leg should feel when we're doing side poses, because when we do them without any awareness, we're just moving in and out on the mat. It's fine, there's nothing wrong with that, of course. This is just taking it to another level. This is adding a bit more depth into the practice and understanding for your own self that we can get more. So you would just turn around. I'm staying facing you. You would just simply turn around. I don't want to put my back to you. And you would do the same thing. You would put the heel on the brick, heel toe out. Actually, I leave my back to you. How's that? So it's easier for you to see. So again, the heel's on the brick and we just got the hands on the pelvis. That's where we were. We aligned the heel with the back arch and we're going over the leg here. So it's about bringing the leg right into the hip socket. And with the heel elevated, it does it for us. But foot on the floor, flat, very hard to gauge that action. You really need to understand, exactly, probably not explained a lot in classes, if you do other yoga classes in practice, that how important it is to access the back of the leg effectively. And these postures are designed to get right into these areas, untouched areas in our body that we don't access. Yes, so use this method to access a bit more. Heels still on the brick. We're still on the brick. We're still in the practice. We're still on the pose. I've come out. I'm watching you do it. The heel's still on the brick. You're still working towards it. Some of you are falling forward. Try not to fall forward. Stay back. Take your head back. Yeah. And go. If you can go to the ankle of the raised heel, go to the ankle. Extend. Take the arm out. Go. Please go to the ankle. Or go to the chair, or go to the wall. That's it. Let the leg open. There you go. Yeah, press the wall away. If you press the wall, the back heel will go down. If you go to the ankle, press the back heel down. Take a breath in. Press the back heel. Inhale, and please come up. Wonderful. Step back. Come back to feet hip width. And then if you can, simply hinge off your hips and hang in a forward bend. Again, forward bends, we're not here to touch the floor. If the floor comes, it comes. You're here to press your feet, distribute the weight evenly, draw the kneecaps up to your thigh bones, lift the thigh bone muscle groups up to your hip bones, pick the hip bones up, move them away from one another, so you create separation through the back and the buttocks, and then you let the upper body just come forward. And as you press your feet, in order to come up, please bend your knees if you need to bring yourself up. So let's leave that foot flat on the floor now, and simply go into triangle and see what happens. It's a wonderful posture to work with for your spinal correction, and of course it adds on to the others. So from the middle of the mat, I'm going to leave the brick now on the highest point on the right hand side. So we leave the brick on the right hand side. Hands on the pelvis, the hip bones here, equidistant to step out, heel toe out, so it's heel. I have got leggings on today, so I hope you can see my feet. So heel, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels. So heels last, because then the heels press into the ground. The heels press into the ground. We take the left heel out a little more. That turns the left toes in. Right toes lift up halfway. Right heel has to rotate inwards. I say has to because that's the way I teach the Iyengar way. So the heel is in line with the arch, and the alignment is as correct as it can get. Otherwise, we're just turning the foot out and we're taking the leg out of the hip socket, and there's no need to do that. Arms out. So exactly what we've been doing, but now we're coming full into Trikonasana triangle pose. Extend. You want to reach left arm out, press left heel, bring that right leg back into the hip socket like you just did. Reach. There's the chair. I left the chair there if you want to use the chair. If you want to go to the brick is behind the right ankle, left arm up. It may not happen that way. Reach for your chair with the right hand. Take the left hand on the lower back, but focus on the feet and the legs. It's your feet and your legs that will correct the pelvis, and it's the correction of the pelvis, abdominal wall going to the left, that's going to correct the spinal movement. Right shoulder blade in, left shoulder blade in. Think collarbones when we started. Yeah, all of that kicks in into your Trikonasana triangle pose. Exhale in the pose, press the left heel, inhale to come up. You just turn the right foot forward halfway and you take the heel back out, and then you can heel toe in. Great for the hips if you heel toe, do a lot of heel toe work. It's great for the groins and your hips, and you do a forward bend here to recover for a moment. Tip the weight forward, hands on the brick if you need to, or your hands on the floor if they go. Again, that's not where you're trying to go. If it comes, it comes. Just work through the legs. Press your feet. Take an inhale. Please come up. Bend your knees if you always need to come up. You don't have to put any pressure on the lower back. Hands on the pelvis. We're going heel toe out again. Heel, toe, heel, toe. So roughly, hopefully, the same width as you did, but you know at least it's equidistant from the center. So instead of stepping one leg out and the other. Okay, right toes will come in a little bit to press the right heel down to the floor, left foot up off the floor, halfway toes, then the heel comes up and it rotates in. So we get this action that we did in gate pose, which we did when we lifted the heel up. Arms out, awareness on right heel, right arm, two straight legs, two straight arms, triangle pose. Remind yourself there are no curves, there's straight lines in the triangle. So two straight lines from the arms, two straight lines from your legs, reach. If you wanted to use the chair, we obviously would have brought it over, or hand on the brick. Right arm will go up in line with the shoulder. Again, if there's strain on the arm, please put the hand on the lower back. The shoulder joint too, left shoulder blade in. Now, bring the awareness back on bringing that left leg into the hip. We raise the heel, it happened for you. Now you do it. You have to do it by pressing into the heels. Right heel, left heel. Four corners of your feet. Lift the left kneecap up. Really engage that leg. So you do the work. Instead of pressing the foot and going into the ground, root down to rise up. So you bring the energy up right into the hip socket. So then you can maneuver that abdominal energy to the right. Press the right heel, exhale, and inhale to come. So you make it a little more dynamic. And the reason you do standing poses is to strengthen and bring stability into the body. Bend the left knee and again rotate the feet. And from here, we'll heel toe back in. Just come heel toe in, hip width this time. So you stay hip width. And then just nip your heels out a little bit. So there's a little more space for the buttocks here. Did you get that? So we came heel toe in. Then all we did was we nipped the heels out. So there's a separation. So when you come forward, there's a little more spreading through the back of your legs. And you're also spreading your buttocks. And you maybe will get a nice forward bend. So just happy back, happy legs. Just by nipping the heels out in a forward bend. And you can do that at any time in your day when you're standing. Become aware of what you do with your heels. Invariably, a lot of us stand with our heels going in, and we don't really stand straight. And when we nip the heels out, it just realigns the pelvis. And then turn that into a downward facing dog. You can walk into a downward facing dog, whichever direction you wish to go into. Pick yourself up. That's it. Up you go. And move those thighs back. Press the palms. Take the hips high. Take your chest to your thighs. Well done. Take a breath in. Breathe out. And exhale. Super. And come back down onto your knees. So I'm just going to put this out there. I know some of you have 2 bricks, which is great. If you do, wonderful. We'll work with them next week. I'd like to do some back bending, not this week. If you don't have 2 yoga bricks, you only have 1, maybe get another one. You can work with 1, but 2 is great. So I'd like to do some back bends. Yeah? But I want to do just 1 now, and then we'll come back and go back into rest. So if you have 1, that's fine, because I know all of you used at least 1. If you have 2, that would be wonderful. Come and lie down. Now, what I'd like you to do is to kickstart it just for the last final pose, and then you can rest. You know that blanket you had? Just put it across the mat. I'd like your pelvis on it. So you can have like a pleated fold here. That's for your pelvis. You know where the groins and the hip bones are. I just want to rest your pelvis on there. Just want to ensure that your lower back and your pelvis is safe. Because I haven't met you all personally, it's hard to gauge. So lots of precautions in these postures for me, to you. So the pelvis is on the pleated blanket. Can you see? So I know for sure that I'm not going to use my lower back muscles. My bricks are in front of me. I've got them in my hand. I want you to just do a variation of locust here for this morning. And then I'd love to add this work in as well with you. So hands on the bricks are flat in front of me. The palms, the arms are in line with the shoulders. I want you to put your palms on the bricks because I noticed some of you in triangle were having a little difficulty raising the back arm. And we always get a bit stuck in the upper back. So let's put the palms on the bricks and move the bricks a little wider than the shoulders. Pressing the palms, leave your forehead down. And then I'd like you to come onto the top of your feet. Please don't curl the toes under. That's it. So don't curl the toes under. Just rotate onto the top of your feet. And then I'd like you to roll onto the little toe side with your feet. So what will happen is the upper inner thighs will roll towards the ceiling. And you'll get an opening through your back like you just did when you did that forward bending the heels out. Here, we rotate the feet towards the little toe. So feel that opening through the inner thighs. Leave your palms on the bricks, forehead on the floor, connection of your pelvic area on the blanket, and just breathe. Let the bricks open your upper back. Let the elevated palms actually open the upper back. Take a couple of exhales. Here. And then you can look up and you can turn the brick on the next height and see how you feel if you raise the palms a little more. And you'll get a little more, hopefully, for your upper back, and you'll just release the forehead. So don't go on the maximum height, just go on the next height up and release the forehead and see how you feel. And let, again, raising the palms, like we raise the heels, we're raising the palms, and just do a couple of exhales here. And very slowly release your hands next to your hips, palms face up. Release the palms, forehead on the floor. Take a breath in. Allow yourself to exhale. Put your hands next to your chest and bring yourself up slowly. Yeah. Excellent. And then you will just lie on your back. You can take the blanket out of the way. You can use it as a head support. Fold it. Use it as head support. Tail forward. And arms out in line with the shoulders. Feet firmly on the floor, knees together. And now release that back body into the ground. Release the side body into the ground. Keep your feet together. Press your feet. Inhale. Drop both knees to the right. You can bring the left foot onto the right foot, so you get a little release through your side body, a little bit more extra there. Breathe in through the side. Exhale. And gently bring the knees back, feet on the floor again. Adjust the tail if you need to, and take the knees to the other side. And as the knees come over, again, you bring that back foot on top of the one that's gone over, and just exhale. Soften through the abdomen. And then come back to the middle. Adjust the tail towards the heels and straighten your legs, please. And take a few moments and lie in Shavasana. Allow the shoulders to get heavy. The arms by the sides of your trunk, palms always face up. So it creates space for the breath to flow towards the heart space. Let the outer thighs roll outward. Your upper inner thighs roll towards the ceiling. So allow the back body to settle. Take your awareness on your breath. And just stay for a few minutes watching the abdomen rise on the inhale and the abdomen release on your exhale. Thank you for practicing, ladies. Please don't get up. Some of you are still resting. Carry on. Thank you for the wait. Namaste, and have a wonderful day, a wonderful week ahead. See you next week.